afternoon. Welcome to the November 18th Planning Commission meeting. And I'm going to call the meeting to order. And we'll start with roll call. Sharon. Here. Joe.
Here.
Austin.
Here.
Danielle.
Here.
Betty Ann is excused. Phil.
Here.
And Zeb is, I went as slowly as I could, but he's not here yet. So I think he's coming. And Paul.
Here.
Thank you. I'm going to start with the approval of the minutes for November 4th, please.
I need one correction, please, at least from what I can see on item 2. Commissioner Mills made a motion to approve and then seconded by myself, but maybe you want to change it to Commissioner Williamson.
Change.
Did you hear that, Caitlin?
Say it one more time.
Change it from Paul to Commissioner Williamson. I don't mind you using my first name at all, but whatever.
Will do, thank you.
Okay. Anything else, anyone? Okay. How about a motion
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
with that change?
With the correction.
Thank you. I have a motion from Paul with that correction and a second by Sharon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you everyone. Moving on to pre-fin 25-06 Forest Dunes, and do you have something you want to say about this first?
Yes, the applicant has requested a continuance. In front of you is an email that they have sent that they will be ready by the next planning commission meeting.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
In their request, they stated they need to resolve regarding a combination plan for forest intersection project. Is these lots involved with another plan, or is it separate?
They're waiting for the deed information.
Okay.
Good. Motion to continue?
I have a motion from Austin to continue, as requested by the applicant, and a second by Danielle. Phil said it first, okay, by Phil. Okay, a request from the applicant to continue, and any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody opposed? All right, moving on to the next item. Presentation of new applications in Caitlin, text 25-06 arcades in MU.
All right, this is a brief overview. This is a request from Candace Bass to amend Article 14, Section 1407C of the zoning code to add gaming arcades as a permitted use in the MU mixed-use zoning district. And the request is as follows: allow use of gaming arcades within the mixed-use district. And then here's a map showing all of our MU districts. We have MUM and MUH. And then the little one in the middle that is blue is our MUM Booker T. Washington overlay. Here is an aerial map of that. And then our applicant is here to go into further detail for this application.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, commissioners, I think you got all received. Did everybody receive a phone call from Cameron this morning?
Yes.
I did.
Yes. Okay, very good. That we're going to have a little more input from all of you, hopefully. So that's where we're going to ask if anybody has any questions first from Caitlin, but speak up for any concerns, and then we'll hear from the applicant, okay?
Question, Chair.
Yes?
In the current MUH, do we have any gaming arcades already established in any of the MUH areas?
No, we do have them in our amusement and entertainment districts.
Yes, Phil?
Has there been numerous requests for this, or is this the first time it's come that you're aware of?
This is the first one I'm aware of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's first request.
Okay, thank you.
And anybody else have any comments for Caitlin, questions for Caitlin and staff? No? Okay, Ms. Bass? Thank you for being here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything that you would like to tell us that you think we should know?
Just that I currently own and operate an amusements company out of Morehead City, North Carolina. We have 179 games in operation total. My husband is my business partner. He does all of our repairs and restorations and everything like that. So we would plan to operate this, if allowed, underneath the same business model as what I currently have. And everything that we have runs off of quarters or tokens, so everything would be coin operated. I have looked into like tax stamps and all the legalization that I would need for the area. It is the building that was previously a candy shop. And so what I would plan to do, if allowed, is have probably 30 to 40 arcade games in there. We don't run any type of gambling equipment. And then we would also offer like a concession style food, hot dogs, popcorn, drinks, coffee, ice cream, things like that. And that's pretty much about it. We have games from the late 70s to the early 2000s, and some more modern equipment. But we keep everything up and running nice. We have constant good reviews. I have 4.7 stars on Google. And we just plan to keep it simple and safe for the community.
So do you already own this property? Is that why you?
We do not.
Because, I mean, there are other places for you to.
There are some other places. We were looking specifically down that main road. And we've been looking for multiple years now. That building has been available for quite some time. So I have been back and forth with the property management company to see what the options would be. We have not signed a lease yet just because I didn't want to put myself into that much money if this was not going to be allowed. So this is just my very first step for taking precautions to see if it would be able for us to do there.
Did the staff review with you where you could do this? Good. Very good. All right.
What's the name of your business in Morehead?
It's Flashbacks Arcade.
Flashbacks.
I'm sorry, what candy store are you referring to? There's like, if you can tell us.
It's 1400 South Ocean Boulevard, so it's going to be
14th Avenue?
Unit A and B. It's right there on the end.
It's that newer building down there, it's the buildings that known pay
Oh,
building.
what
Is
the
it where we went to
candy
Mini
can-
Mart and the
the
liquor
candy
store,
can-
and then it's the 3 empty space
That's
this-
correct.
in
Oh,
the
the
same
big- that
building.
big
So it's a
candy
little strip
store.
building,
Mhm.
Austin.
Yeah.
Hold on. Taisha's going to
Right here.
get it right there. She's going to nab it. Incredible.
Oh, thank you.
But that's that building that was built about 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's
It's a nice building.
brand new, basically. How many square feet is it?
It is about 3,800 square feet. The arcade that I have in Morehead City is 6,000 square feet.
Oh, my. Okay, commissioners, what questions would you like to ask Ms. Bass?
So Joyce asked that the staff showed you other alternatives. Does any of that not work for you, or?
Not specifically. Do you have built like other places specifically that you're talking about that are open and available? We really do like the location of the building that I'm talking about. There's not, like you guys said, there's not any other arcades close by around. And it would be prime location for something fun considering all the hotels that are nearby.
I guess, Danielle, back on, to kind of add on to what you said, my concern with MUM as a whole, some of these are neighborhoods, and if we give this to you, even though that location may work, it's the whole, it goes
It's
into
massive.
neighborhoods, and
Right.
so then somebody else can just open up a, correct me if I'm wrong, staff,
You're not,
they can open up an arcade in the middle of a neighborhood.
unless it's deed restricted, but we don't enforce deed restrictions.
Right, so that's would be my concern.
And I have the same concern about housing, locating something like this in and around housing if we approved it. be all up and down the,
Well, it's a massive amount of MU.
Yes.
Amounts of, really huge. That's was my first concern, if you had talked to staff about where you could locate if this, you know, as we review this. So, Phil, you have a, no, I thought you
think
were
she
waving.
understands it because of the size of the MUH, because of the diversity that's in it. What you're planning to do is a thing that would be good. The complications you're hearing is the size of our MUM is one of the largest districts we have, and it's not new. It's going to open up everything, and that's going to be the difficulty. And then and technically it's not, but it is, you'd almost be spot zoning, saying, oh, if we just do it for you, because where you're at might work, we wouldn't do that anyhow.
I was
because
also
you don't
trying
wanna
to
do
think
it.
about maybe like special use permits or anything like that may be able to pertain to this. I just thought this would be the best way for me.
We'd like to be cheerleaders for business, so it's, you know, if there's an option for you to locate somewhere else, but as we go along with this, and I don't know how everybody's an individual vote,
Right.
so everybody has to look at it in their own view. But there's challenges for me. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but you might have heard them say that too.
Well, this is workshop for staff just as much as well as it is for y'all as the planning commission. One of the things you're talking about as far as the MUM and all that, I mean, that's the easy, if it's something that wanted to be done, an easy request is to just take the MUM off the table and just let it be MUH. That puts some limitation on where you could do it. My only thing about even going with that, if you look at MUH is mainly concentrated along our boulevard, with a few random areas that were in association with golf courses to allow the short-term rentals. You also look on our boulevard, you've got two areas that are zoned amusement, solely for the purpose of the arcades and everything else. Other big thing for me is we're in the midst of a zoning rewrite right now. To be considering the allowance of uses in a zoning classification where they previously have not been allowed in the midst of a zoning rewrite may not be the best idea. You may end up with something to where you as a board could pass something that once we go through the zoning rewrite, really hatch into it even deeper, may say that's not the best place for that use. It was good the way it was. We've allowed a use and it's now going to be grandfathered in for where they're at. That needs to be brought into consideration as well on this, that we are in the midst of a zoning rewrite, and that this is something that could be addressed or could be talked about in regard to the zoning rewrite.
And I think additionally, our comprehensive plan, the idea is to have amusement type activities in a central location, primarily so that you can have more diversity of people that can actually attend it, where you're isolated out there. And the vision of the current plan is that we get them to where there's all kind of amusement so people can build off of each other and can bounce off of each other, and it's in a location where people are expecting that type of activity, and et cetera. So even our comprehensive planning is more like a dart, this board that's sitting out there on the sun, and that it creates issues with how do we justify it for from a comprehensive plan standpoint. So some feedback to you about that.
So I think you hear some concerns. This moves to, from, I don't know the date, our next meeting, do you? Second, December 2nd, we will vote on this.
Okay.
So that's when we'll be back here, and I guess we'll see you at that point.
All right.
Thank you for
That sounds
coming
good.
in.
Yes, thank you for
Appreciate it so
hearing me
much.
out.
Nice meeting you.
I appreciate all of your time. Thank you.
Okay, commissioners. We're going to move on to the communications from the staff, and I have
Welcome.
Sorry, I'm late.
Communications from staff, and I want Taisha to tell everyone what our three women are about to embark upon.
Yes.
Pretty exciting.
Kelly, Caitlin, and I will be taking the AICP exam this week, so
Whoop, whoop.
keep buzzing your thoughts, please.
It's a 3.5-hour exam. How many questions?
170 questions.
170 questions. And
good.
we need to keep the thoughts and prayers.
Good luck.
Because, because Cameron took it last year, remember? And and you have to have, there's qualifications, you have to be a planner for so many years, so anyway, it's pretty exciting time, and so think about them, because they're gonna be under the gun, two of them tomorrow, and Caitlin on Thursday.
We don't put the pressure on you. If Cameron can pass it, y'all can too.
You all got this, I already know that.
No, they do, and they've been studying together
Yes.
and separately, and my goal today was to get done as soon as possible so they all can go back and study.
Grand exam.
So,
You're making great time.
Yes.
we actually have a little side bet, Taisha and I, on the time. Thank you very much. Can't discuss that. All right, anything else from staff, please?
No.
Anything to report, Kelly, over there with a
No,
little
ma'am.
top knot, which I love, and thank you, Caitlin, you did a nice job. Anything else that you want to say today?
No?
Okay, thank you very much.
If you guys have any feedback for the population element update, please let us know. You can email it to us, or you can say it now if you want.
You know,
Hopefully, we did our due diligence for that, and it's.
Did everybody read this? Because this is a phenomenal piece of work here, and so much information. Every page you go, oh my gosh, really? Holy cow, did that, oh wow. It's just chock full of information, so please make sure if you didn't read it to do that. And, okay, back to commissioners, what would you like to say? Anything happen in town that you've observed that we should, I'm trying to slow down because you're going to win the bet. Anything that you have observed that we need to take care of out on the street? Anything from potholes? Did y'all know there was a pothole hotline? Do y'all know that?
No.
Did you know that? There's a pothole hotline.
No, I didn't.
There
Was
is.
it advertised in Friday Facts or anything? I haven't seen any pothole.
Are you about to get that on speed dial?
Pothole hotline, is there not? Cameron told me last time we had a meeting.
Do you believe him? No, it's not.
Yeah,
Is it really?
yeah.
Good. So we have to Google that.
You-
Okay, so anything that you've observed, construction or things that are falling down that we haven't taken care of, things that you've observed that you're alarmed about, we need to bring it to staff's attention so something can happen.
Presbyterian Church.
Please.
I know I've said it before.
We've all said it 100 times. I've said it behind the scenes even. I begged some city council people, holy cow, that's not good.
I Googled the Myrtle Beach pothole hotline. What we get is call the main customer service number, ask for Public Works and Street Maintenance Department, and go from there. Or you can use the online reporting tool.
Online reporting. So.
Has anyone seen the new street lights that they're putting up in Market Common?
Good or bad?
I don't think that,
When did this happen?
I noticed one on Sunday, and somebody else told me there was another one.
We
But
just started doing it.
it's made by Verizon, and
Yes.
I think it's like maybe some kind of like Wi-Fi emitter. I didn't have time to really inspect it myself, but they're not as attractive as the existing
No,
ones.
that's not good.
Where's it
Where
at?
is
Where they at?
Tell us
That
where
you
it is
know
so we
of.
can
The
go look.
one that I saw is behind Gordon Biersch
Huh.
on
Behind,
DeVille Street.
On the
on
second
DeVille
row.
Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh,
I'd look at it.
okay.
So if there's just one so far?
I personally have seen one. Somebody else mentioned that they had seen another one, but
Where is the other one?
I'm not sure. I'll have to do a walk around and try to find it, but it's,
But do you find it, besides not as attractive, is it doing its job?
I'm assuming it has some kind of new, like, maybe Wi-Fi emitter feature, but it's just got like a really thick base.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very uniform with the other ones that I think are pretty elegant. So, is that something that the Planning and Zoning Commission
Well, we like to
would-
hear feedback, yeah.
I think, isn't that being approved, those are being approved by staff. We voted on an ordinance, we recommended an ordinance for staff to approve those going forward, isn't that right?
In regard to,
Those cell phone towers, those little 5G cell towers, bitty cell towers?
Isn't there a standard light pole configuration for Margaret Commons? Do you know, I mean, does the CAB get involved in any of that? Don't know.
I mean, the street light, I mean, you're talking about the street lights, yeah, there's certain ways that they have to do things, you know.
But he's talking about streetlights.
Yeah.
I thought I saw about the cell towers.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
cell
you
tower.
confused, yeah,
Oh,
no.
the
he's
street
talking-
lights
It's
out at-
streetlights.
Out at Market Common, that's where your mids and your TIFs and everything come into play.
So who do you think is changing them out?
somebody told me Verizon.
See, Verizon,
Change a
that
street light.
throws me off, Verizon.
Yeah, see, Verizon would be a cell tower or a mini cell tower.
They just
It-
put,
it
they
could
just
possibly
put a new one out there.
Yeah.
Could it be a combination of light and cell tower?
Yes.
Oh,
We have those types.
That's the option for a cell tower, for an acceptable.
It's not totally bothering me,
Or
but I
not-
just noticed
not
that it's a
cell
lot
tower.
thicker than
yeah, because
the other street
it's
lights.
carrying more than a street light. It's possibly being a
Yes,
tower too.
And that's what you're gonna start, the monopoles, wish Charlie was here, but Charlie had to be at another meeting today, because he's our cell tower. These are like not the cell towers, but these are the ones to give you coverage and not capacity, so to speak. To where we try to make them simulate as much as possible to a light pole, anything along those lines. There's no way that you're gonna get an exact match to the light pole, because there's too much guts to a cell tower than there is as opposed to just a regular light. And so, yeah, we've worked very hard and shot down many models to arrive at what is in our opinion, was the least intrusive.
And
of
I
any
think
of them that are out there.
when you said Verizon, I think that changed everything. It's
That tower over there on
Cell tower.
62nd, that big tower that was recently put up maybe a year or so ago, that one is, that must be, that's not a 5G tower, that's a big,
That's what,
Are they- are they kind
but
of
that's a straight
bronze? Is it
that's a straight
bronze
slick
color?
pole.
Yes.
it's bronze and the base comes up about that high and then
Yeah.
it gets, that's the, yeah, they're putting them out everywhere.
Yes, that's the new
They're,
cell
they're
coverage.
in, they're in front of, on Ocean Boulevard, they're in front of somebody's house on
Exactly.
what street is that, like 32nd Avenue. They're the giant, there's one of those right smack in front of
Yeah, it
their
was
house.
just the first time I had seen one.
You know, it sounds like it's gonna be that
It's
versus
gonna,
trying to
it's gonna
change
be
all the
calm,
lighting.
it's gonna be calm.
Right.
It's gonna be common, sadly. I mean, good for us, but sad for visual.
But the last that we heard from them, it's not gonna be as many as they initially expected that it would be. That they're getting ways now where they can get more capacity and coverage out of just the bigger tower, and don't have to have the small cell towers as much.
So thank you, that's the beginning.
I just have one more question. Is it possible to do like a one-off, like, for an example, this person came in and wants to do that in MUH, but technically it's not allowed. Are we allowed to give them like a one-off, like, okay, you're allowed to do it, but, okay.
Because that would be spot zoning then.
Okay,
That's when you get into contract zoning and things along those lines.
yeah,
So, I mean, the only thing that you could possibly do on her of what she did was, of what she initially requested, you could drop the MUM and just apply it to MUH. And if there was a specific area along the boulevard, which is what she's looking for, is an area along the boulevard that she wanted to do a overlay zone or something along those lines, is something that you could give consideration to along that. But like I said, with our zoning rewrite coming up right now, I'm more apt just to see what the zoning rewrite.
And that's one reason I asked staff if they're aware of is this a demand or is this an
One-off.
individual situation? And it sounds like it's more of an individual situation, because we, like Ken said, if it really was getting to be that demand, then that, what he said was like an overlay might be something would come, but if we wanted it, but there's no demand for it.
And we often have these one-off things, and you really have to make a judgment, is that gonna be better for our community? But when you see the possibility of the infiltration of that virtually everywhere in the city, I mean, you have to decide whether you think that's a good thing or not.
Is there,
Okay.
I try to look in the regs, is there a definition for gaming arcade?
Yeah.
You think that that's it? Oh, you wrote it.
Yep.
She
Well, no,
did her
there's-
homework. Good.
It's defined in that
Impressive.
zoning code.
It is.
I do have a question for staff, kind of along those lines. Coral Beach, I think it's on 17th Avenue South.
Yeah,
They have an arcade in their hotel.
As an accessory use, which is allowed.
yeah.
So like this lady, for example, if she cut a deal with the hotel to run her
The only
Arcade
thing,
and-
only thing that she really couldn't have then, she couldn't have that like,
The concession part.
or no, she could have that too as part of, but she couldn't have that signage out on the boulevard because it has now become an accessory use to the hotel.
Gotcha.
And she wants a massive space.
oh, that one at Coral Beach is pretty big,
Oh, it's 3,800 square feet?
at least. They got a bowling alley, arcade games, the whole nine.
Yes, so you're allowed those as an accessory use. There are certain zoning classifications that allow arcades outright. And then there are those like in the, like for hotels, things like, and accommodation with at least 100 rooms.
Yep.
You are allowed to provide as an accessory use of the gaming arcade, the convenience stores and all that type of stuff. Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
So just as a straw poll, was anybody think that would be a good idea to have that done? Because I would like to hear the other side of the argument.
Well, I think it kind of depends on whether or not we want to kind of limit that boardwalk amusement area to the boardwalk amusement area, or if we want to open the door for expansion further along Ocean Boulevard. I mean, Ken was right. The overlay zone would be a way to perhaps
Get around.
to get around the, reclassify everything as amusement, or opening the door huge on MUM. But I'm not quite sure even the overlay is appropriate, because I'm not quite sure we want to expand the amusement area past the amusement area.
Yeah,
I think
because
if
then
you,
that gets big, more unwieldy.
if you open up the door, you're gonna could have a bunch of people coming in asking for the same thing.
Yeah, oh
That's-
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or an expansion of it, axe throwing, whatever.
The axe throwing, man, do I miss that.
And here's, publicity-wise, we're having a little bit of problem controlling our amusement area where it's at currently at, so
Yeah.
that would add.
Is
to that.
all axe throwing is gone, isn't it? I think all of the things.
I thought we prevented it in highway commercial, but I couldn't.
Yeah, but she means actual business.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very
It was a bad
short-lived.
There's one down there by Presswood.
Yeah, that one's closed down. Jack
Oh,
Axe.
is it?
Yeah.
It's just the-
Yeah, they're all,
Oh, when you say
I don't
past-
think there's any
past-
left.
Past the state park?
Yeah.
Jackass,
Oh, yeah.
you're right.
After I saw that video of the person throwing it and it came back at them and almost cut their head off,
Now, they're still prevalent, but just not here. I mean, I was up in Spartanburg area a couple of weeks ago, and that was, rode by two of them.
so make sure you take all your, your party animal friends and go axe throwing. Okay.
If you add a little alcohol, it makes it real fun.
That's really important. In fact, that's probably required. Okay, folks,
Can I, just a question that we brought up on our call earlier today. Ken, I mean, instead of, we got these deed restrictions and all that kind of stuff is a pretty big hassle. And
It was brought up.
well, it was continued, the item was
yeah,
continued.
so I'm wondering if part of the zoning rewrite, we could look at, in order to try to kind of maintain some of these traditional neighborhoods that aren't, Grand Dunes is not a problem because they've got covenants and everything that would prevent subdivision of lots. But these older neighborhoods that don't have those covenants, that you're relying purely on deed restrictions, I'm wondering if, as part of the zoning rewrite, that we could amend the zoning for these areas to have a minimum subdivision requirement, higher than what we currently have, I think, which is what, 75.
I'll go ahead and tell you, I mean, y'all can ask for whatever you want to. As a staff, I wouldn't support that. I mean, that's just, I think the one that's been continued right here before y'all today, he's asking to have lots that are the same size as the lots on both sides of it. Okay, so it's pretty hard for me to say you can't have something that everybody else on the street already has.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, and that's kind of my point is that, you know, because somebody back when the subdivision was originally created bought a double lot, doesn't necessarily mean that that has to be a double lot for the rest of, you know, creation.
Correct.
You know, but what I think we could look at is establishing an average lot size for these neighborhoods and saying you can't subdivide less than this average lot size.
And again, this is just general conversation discussion right here.
Right.
You know, it goes back to one of my least favorite words, but it's one that I have to live and die by, and we all do, market driven. You know, market driven comes into play with a whole lot of that type of stuff.
I don't think that's a fair comparison because, I mean,
Because I wasn't finished with the comparison. What you're looking at there was, at that time, there wasn't a whole lot of influx to come in here to Myrtle Beach whenever all these lots were combined and made into multiple lots. We were not the tourist destination that we've become. We were not the fastest growing area in the United States of America for 10 or 15 straight years. And so that's what I'm saying the market is similar to market driven in that we might not agree with it, but it's what the world now is expecting. If I had it my way, we would all have 20,000 square foot lots, and you wouldn't be able to holler in your house and your neighbor hear you in their house because they're only 5 feet apart. But that's the world that we've come to now. And so you've got to factor all those types of things in as far as all the different ways of thinking from the different folks coming up. And that's hard for me to do sometimes. But that is part of it.
I understand that point, but how is that any different? You know, allowing somebody to put, you know, 4 homes on a lot that, you know, that only traditionally had 1 home in that neighborhood, how's that any different from somebody putting a 4-person, 4 multifamily unit townhome next to your lot? I mean, we have zoning to kind of, you know, to compartmentalize these areas and protect the residential, you know, component of those neighborhoods, of what they were and what they are now. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's the same kind of thing.
Zale, help me understand that. This is R10 zone, right? That they were doing,
On the boulevard.
which what they were saying is kind of what you're saying. You said that, you know, what size can it be? That's why you understand that. That's why R10's there. They can't do less than 10,000.
Yeah, but 10,000 is a lot smaller than the average size lot is right now.
Right. In that area.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I just don't see.
Well,
I mean,
Now, that's something that you might could look at, is do you want to increase the minimum lot size in the R10 zoning classification? But then the thing that you're going to factor in there is how many lots are you making non-conforming by doing so? I mean, so there's a lot that goes into it.
I mean, I agree with that.
And there's more than one approach to it. And it's what becomes a thing for zoning and planning, more particularly in the future, is 25 years from now, somebody might be saying, why were these lots, they were allowed to be this size? Though stuff just changes so much in regard to it. But that request that's up there before us now, it's like 20,000 square foot lot, 20,000 square foot lot, 20,000 square foot lot, 67,000 square foot, 20,000 square foot lot, 20,000 square foot lot. All he's looking to do is come back in with lots that are the exact same size as the lots currently on both sides of it.
Right. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not, what I'm trying to say is maybe establish a minimum lot size for these different neighborhoods. And maybe if it requires a new zoning classification for each neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, a minimum lot size, yes, that creates that, you know, for those lots that might be smaller than the average, then that does make them non-conforming. But that, you know, we could clarify that there's I mean, as long as they can stay that size and that doesn't, you know, as long as they meet the other requirements for a
That
rebuild.
request that you just said there about, you know, different zoning classifications for different neighborhoods is going against the direction of planning and zoning right now. Planning and zoning directions right now are to have less zoning classifications. Is where the push is with zoning codes right now, is to have less zoning classifications.
That's the city council pushing that, or?
No, I'm talking about in general, for all across the United States.
I think that's where the people who are talking, the outside vendor who is helping with the
No,
zoning.
I mean,
no, ma'am.
Yeah.
Let me make that clear. I am talking about in general across the United States of America. Planning in general across all towns is going to having fewer zoning classifications than they currently have right now. This is not our Kimley Horn pushing us this way. This is Kimley Horn providing this information that supports what we were already seeing. That's the push for planning and zoning right now, is to go with fewer zoning classifications. That they show us some of the ones that they've done, or show us some of the ones that they've looked at that went from 27 zoning classifications to 15, or that went from 20 zoning classifications to 12. Now it is the market average for, like they said, like the last 8 to 10 years, every zoning rewrite that they've done, people have been driven toward lesser zoning classifications.
You know, but also, I mean, in today's world, every new residential development has got a set of codes and restrictions, and they're managed by an HOA to enforce them. Here, we're talking about older neighborhoods that don't have that HOA established. I mean, any new development now is going to have that almost every one all over the country. So here, what we're trying to address here, or at least what I'm talking about, is these older neighborhoods that weren't developed that way. And trying to find a way to protect them, just like all the new neighborhoods are already protected.
What are we protecting them from?
A change in the scheme of the original development.
Which could be a good or a bad thing.
Well, I mean, it could be. I mean, but if that was the scheme that was established, then I mean, I think that's
What they bought into.
They bought into
just
that,
like
under that
Graham
scheme,
did, if you
yeah.
knew what was happening at
all right.
Graham
That's the whole
Dunes,
concept of zoning was the scheme. You know, is the scheme of development.
You would know all developments in Market Common. You know
Right.
what the lot size are. You know all the ones in
And
Graham
we're not,
Dunes, what the
we're
lot
not
size
getting
are.
from the scheme of our zoning. I mean, just because the fact that they supersede our requirements, I mean, you get into a slippery slope. You're getting into more than triple staff responsibility in regard to certain situations like that. One of the reasons that they are pushing for less zoning classifications is the simplicity of the approach, to make it more simpler to understand, not as complicated. Yet they were offering an alternative that's going to be a bit more complicated than just a regular zoning classification. But again, it's not my decision to make, it's just my opinion to give.
Yeah, I mean, I think most city residents, most permanent residents would like to be able to know that somebody's not going to build a 4-house development next to their single-family home.
Well, I can assure you there will not be a 4-house development in anything that's zoned to R10, because that is just single-family zoning classification only.
Well, I mean, when I say, 4 little mini houses or whatever like that, I mean, some of those lots up around Birdshot could easily fit 4 houses on, under the current.
Yeah, but I don't consider 20,000 square feet a small lot, especially in today's market.
Well, it depends on what you have next door to it. You know, if you've got, if you're in a subdivision with 200 lots and they're all half-acre lots, then it's really kind of, I mean, it's kind of unfair for somebody to come in there and subdivide that half-acre lot, put 2 or 3 houses on it, when everybody else is living in a community with 1 house on those lots.
You know, I mean, we could have this discussion that 10 years ago, whenever all these new subdivisions were coming in out there at Market Commons. And I said, there's no way that we should approve a lot that's 40 foot wide. But that's everything that got approved. Why? Because that's what the market was dictating.
Well, again, those are new communities that had not been established yet, and people bought into them like with 40 foot wide lots. This is what I'm trying to talk about is existing communities that already have an established scheme, that the city is, you know, the zoning should correlate with that established scheme.
That's the decision for council to make.
Okay, very interesting. Well, deed restrictions will be up on our next agenda with the
Well, I have a question
property
about-
on the boulevard, so. Go ahead, Bill.
They've postponed this twice, and I know we made a decision, that's okay, I'm not doing that. I'm trying to understand. They're still trying to find out what,
Cameron told me that the B&C is waiving the deeds restrictions on those
they're
properties.
trying to get that corrected. But I guess my question is to ask is, you brought up the last time you heard about, to do a proper title research, go back 110 years?
Probably over 100 years. Most of these, I mean, a lot of these deeds were given out in the
In the 30s.
30s. I mean, some of them not to the 50s. But
Because the problem I have with all of this is we have a state mandate, and yet we have deed restrictions, and most people here, if you have a legal life, wouldn't even know anything about it.
Bingo.
So it's a conflict in either we have to say, and you don't want to do this for everybody, either you do a 110-year title search on everything, or you don't do it on anything, and if you're aware of it, comes up, it does. If it's not aware of, you don't worry about it. But that's a problem too, because we know that there are issues. How do we resolve that?
I mean, how do you resolve it? It's already been going on, y'all. Okay, all these things are not, I'm taking these two lots and combining them. Some of them are, I'm taking half of this lot and putting here and half of this lot and putting there. That's a subdivision. A subdivision does not always have to be making smaller lots to be considered a subdivision. You know, you're talking down here on the boulevard, the same things are up in Pine Lakes. You know, we had the one that came through here that we said couldn't allow the subdivision because you weren't allowed to subdivide the property. It was a property that was made up of one original lot and parts of two other, it was like lot 11, part of lot 10, and part of lot 12. That's a subdivision. If that was taken to court, they probably win in court and said that your deed restrictions are null and void because you have already subdivided original lots that these deed restrictions apply to. Y'all going into a wormhole is seriously where you're going into.
well, the statute created a wormhole. You know that. I mean, it's a poorly written statute and doesn't really add a whole lot of clarity as what the hell it means. But again, that's the whole reason for maybe fixing this in the form of zoning, and changing the minimum lot sizes. I mean, maybe we just have, I mean, if we want to do one type of zoning for, you know, a lot of different residential areas, then we just establish a larger lot size and just make a lot of lots non-conforming.
The fact that the deed restrictions go back so far, they do go back so far. I alert everybody in my neighborhood perpetually, all the people that move in, that there are deed restrictions. And if you want to contest it, you need to go to Conway and get the deed restriction and bring it to wherever you know, to show that this is what it is. So we still, in my understanding, I talked to Cameron this morning about this, we can still say no.
Yeah.
We can still say no. That's an option.
I
You know,
mean,
right now, we got like at Pine Lakes, R10, we have this one we're looking at, R10. You get over to Birchap area and everything, it's another zoning because it's in the yellow and the other. You're really telling people what you're saying is either it's R10 or it's R20. If you say R20 is 20,000 square feet, R10, but they already see it's R10 going into it. The question is, do we have to revisit those type zones? Is that what really has been asked?
But what I was saying is rather than, I mean, we've been focused on these deed restrictions as a way to try to, I think, you know, follow again what was intended by the original subdivision developer, but also to protect the scheme of development of these residential subdivisions. Otherwise, I mean, what's gonna happen is if we didn't have these deed restrictions in place now, then you're gonna see what happened in Surfside, and you're gonna have speculators buy up all these lots and put 2 or 3 houses on each lot. And that's gonna, I mean, that will happen, and that would have happened by now if it hadn't been for the deed restrictions. But, you know, I'm saying is why not, if we're gonna revisit the zoning code anyway, why not fix this in the zoning code?
Well, see, like, these 3 lots on the, I just to talk about the example that we've got. The 3 widths on those lots are 90 feet, okay? You can't split it again. You can't make another lot because you got a minimum lot width requirement. Okay, I think the minimum lot width is either 60 or 75 on that. There's no way you can split that 90 feet and get another minimum lot width out of it. You go back to what the original intent of it was whenever they did the subdivision. They're asking to go back to the original lots that were combined.
Yeah.
So that is the original intent of the original
What,
subdivision.
so are you saying they were originally 3 lots?
Yes.
Because we
That's the-
haven't seen that though. Nobody presented that to us, that it was originally three lots.
And the question was.
I mean, I
Well,
don't know.
I think it's only come to you during as workshop. We hadn't had a public hearing matter on it yet because he's continued it.
Well, I understand that,
But there was another one, I don't know, right behind Jimmy John, Mo's, it was the hibachi place. He brought the original 2 lots in, and we told him no because they had deed restrictions. It was in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
On, Highland, North Highland Way. I can't remember the developer, but they brought in the original
yes,
map.
and he withdrew.
Yeah, because we told him no, right?
Yeah, we told him no.
But those original lots, it was one of the, I think those original lots were so small that maybe that they wouldn't have met today's thing. I have to go back and look at that.
Yeah,
You know, it's one thing, I'm not saying that you should be automatically allowed to go back to your original lot. But if your original lot of record meets all the dimensional requirements that we currently have in our zoning code, and you want to go back to the original lot of record that meets the minimum lot width, minimum lot depth, and minimum lot area, I find that to be a hard refusal.
Agreed.
Well, that's the one we did,
but
that's the one we did for that person on, it was about 6 months ago. A person come in and put the lots back to the original, he's subdivided, like, who was it? It was
I think
right in
that's
your
what,
neighborhood.
Well, there was,
Married Fox?
no, it was Nations Homes did the 3 directly
Right.
behind it, and then somebody else, it might have been Nations, came back again for a double lot across the street from those 3.
the thing, I think what,
I don't know.
with the deed restriction, you buy into a neighborhood, just like Grand Dunes or Market Common, you know that what you're buying into. When you buy into what I call Old Myrtle Beach, you should also know what you're buying
Know
into.
what you're buying into, I agree.
And if that's a deed restricted area, then it's a deed restricted area, and because you don't want in Grand Dunes the carpet pulled out from under you because they changed their mind, or Market Common, you don't want the carpet pulled out from under you because now, even though that's where you bought, well, guess what, we don't think that's right anymore. I mean, I think that's where Zeb's going with this. You need to be buying what you bought. You need to own what you
Right,
bought.
but here's the question I have. Zeb,
Well, no,
as a lawyer,
You go back to what Mr. Stalvey said. He bought property in a R10 zoning classification. He looked at R10. He saw that R10 had a 10,000 square foot minimum lot size. He saw the minimum width and he saw the minimum depth. He saw this big piece of property and he said, I can get 3 lots that meet the R10 zoning classification, which is the point that Mr. Stalvey made earlier. So he is buying into what's dictated to him. He's buying into a R10 zone piece of property that has a 10,000 square foot lot minimum lot width and a minimum lot depth. And that's what he bought into, was based off of our zoning map, not off of a deed restriction.
right, now, what I have to ask you is from a legal standpoint, if I'm buying that property, what is the obligation of an attorney that's representing you to go back and tell you what it's?
I don't need Mr. Thomas to answer that question, to be honest with you. I think you're starting to give legal opinions
No, I'm not saying legal
I think you're
opinion.
starting to
I'm
give
just
legal
asking
opinions in a
him.
planning commission meeting. I think we're on some thin ice, And I may be 100% wrong, but I do not feel comfortable with that.
With what?
We can
Meeting to adjourn.
ask for an adjournment.
Second.
Meeting to adjourn.
Second.
And I have a Danielle, meeting to adjourn, motion, and a second from Austin. Okay, you can shut everything down?
Kelly?